We are almost in 2023, which means new predictions and experiences from Nintendo as we do it all over again with a clean slate, which I'm super excited for. But one of the things that I also want to start talking about, of course, is my boy Mario. And I want to talk about every little thing Mario that could happen next year. Of course, we know that the big Mario movie is coming on April 7th to be exact, but I want to talk about the video game side of things. What else is going to happen Mario-wise, because we know Mario is going to have a pretty big year with its first movie ever for Nintendo. That's going to be super exciting, but today we're going to dig into Mario spin-offs, Mario RPGs, Mario side character games, just everything Mario, mainline, everything we can think of, and talk about all the Mario stuff that can happen next year in the gaming universe. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed today's video, stop what you're doing, leave a like, and subscribe to help us reach 200,000 subscribers. You guys are awesome, but let's jump into the list of amazing Mario games that we could get for next year. Of course, first we have to talk about mainline Mario. And when we think about mainline Mario, it's actually broken into 3 different categories. You have your 2D Mario, you have 3D kind of linear experienced Mario games like Mario Galaxy and 3D World and 3D Land, and then you have more of your sandbox open world 3D Mario games like 64, Sunshine, and Mario Odyssey. So it's really hard to tell what Nintendo's working on with Mario next because they lead us to believe all types of crazy things, but we just don't know. For instance, we were led to believe that Odyssey was going to get DLC or maybe even a sequel with, Isle Delfino being on that map and all the rumors stating that we was going to get more kingdoms and stuff, but we never did see anything for DLC and we never got anything for a sequel so far. And after 5 years, almost approaching 6 years, you would think a sequel would have been already kind of announced and ready to release and probably already out already. So it's hard to tell if this is going to be an Odyssey 2 or something completely different. Personally, I think it's going to be more along the lines of Bowser's Fury. Bowser's Fury felt like a test mode for Mario, and it felt like something that was going to take Mario into a new direction. A new way to explore a world without jumping into hub worlds and going from level to level, just one giant interconnected world, which would be fascinating to see for Mario. And I think that's something that could be happening in what's taking them just so long with this Mario this time around. And just seeing a giant world to run around and explore in and do little challenges would be amazing. So as far as a 3D Mario this year, I'm actually going to say it's about a 92% chance that it's happening this year. I'm going full-fledged, almost completely into this thing. 92% is happening. I think it's a 100% chance that we're going to see it this year, but 92% it's going to be the holiday game or something. Just mark my words. And then there's the rumor of a 2D Mario game, and there's a rumor that a 2D Mario game is going to be coming that's different than the new Super Mario Bros. Moniker, and it's finally going to do something completely different, which I would love. I think this could be huge. I don't think it's 3D Mario huge, and I still think 3D Mario is going to run it next year. If anything, I say this 2D Mario is probably being developed along the same time and could be released in like 2024, which would make a lot of sense. So right now I'm saying about a 35% chance that we'll see it in 2023, or at least get it in 2023. But I'm telling you right now, you put the 3D Mario and the 2D Marios together, there's a 100% chance we're seeing at least one of them next year. Without a doubt, there would be something completely wrong if we didn't see Mario in some capacity in a new game next year. Next up, our category is Mario spin-offs, and the first one I'm talking about is Mario Sports. I'd say we're either going to get a Mario basketball or Mario baseball. I would love something new, like football, I've been asking for years, but based on them covering past Mario Sports titles on past consoles, I feel like baseball is just definitely the one that's next, and then probably basketball. But Mario Strikers was early 22, Mario Golf Super Rush was mid 2021, and Tennis Aces was mid 2018. So it's not every year we get a new Mario Sports game, but I think it's a good chance that we could see the next sport game around 70%, I would say, because it just feels like they still have some sports to get out before the Switch life cycle is done. We definitely have to see baseball, right? And I think I would much rather prefer basketball. I love basketball, and we don't have like its own individualistic home console Mario basketball game. We have different versions, like we have the 3-on-3 on the DS, and then we also have the Mario Sports Mix version, but I just want a full-fledged Mario basketball game from the ground up, its own thing, please. Mario Party is also in that same boat where it feels like it comes every year, but there's some years it misses, for instance, like last year. But 2021 actually had Superstars, which was a pretty solid game that people loved. It just took boards from the past and mini games from the past and remade them and just made a really solid Mario Party experience. And finally, I think it's time that we see an original Mario Party that goes back to that classic style with original mini games as well. And I feel like it's going to be pretty big. I definitely feel like there is going to be some sort of Mario Family game and Mario Party game next year. And I'd actually go as far to say probably 87% chance that we will see some type of Mario Party next year. So this one is 100% confirmed already, but I just had to bring it up. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC Booster Pass, that's so many words, Waves 4 through 6. They're 100% confirmed to finish out the 2023 year and finish out the rest of the DLC, and then we're done with Mario Kart 8, hopefully forever, and we can move on to Mario Kart 9. But expect them around 4 months apart. That would work perfectly. So April, August, and then December next year, that will be the very last wave we get in December, which is going to be kind of bittersweet, finally saying farewell to Mario Kart 8. It's going to be so sad, but I am so ready to move on. I'm sorry. We've been playing Mario Kart 8 for like 10, 11 years now. It's time for the next one. But yeah, 100% we're getting those. And the last Mario spinoff I want to bring up is Mario Maker 3, because it could be sooner than we think. Remember, it is one of those like top 20 Nintendo Switch games that just sold tons of units. I mean, like, people love Mario Maker. The community just gathers around this game so well. Just everyone comes together to make levels, play levels, and talk about new tech and stuff that they learn for levels. It's just an amazing time. We're approaching 4 years, believe it or not, towards the summer of 2023, when it's time to probably look for a new Mario Maker that could be coming out. Now, remember the 2D Mario I talked about? Maybe we have to wait for this 2D Mario to come out, and that way it's going to give Mario Maker 3 a brand new style for us to work with, which means Mario Maker 3 could still be a long ways away, but maybe that new 2D Mario game is just Mario Maker 3. Who knows? And if Mario Maker 3 does come sooner, I feel like they're going to have to do something drastically different, because more 2D Mario styles just may not be enough. We're going to have to see probably some, entrance into the 3D Mario Maker world, which I still think would be one of the best games of all time, but, I still think we're kind of far away from that. So right now, it's not very likely for 2023. At a 12%, I would give it. I know it's very low, but that's just how I feel, right? I just don't think it's the right time for that right now, but it's definitely probably being worked on as we speak. Next up, we have Mario RPGs. Now, there's two, obviously, that I am going to talk about, because there's only two other options outside of Mario Rabbids. So, first off, Paper Mario. Paper Mario had Origami King toward the middle of 2020 during the pandemic. It just kind of popped up out of nowhere and released. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't great, but it still was a really fun experience for me. I still think they need to just fix this stupid battle system back to the normal battle system, but it's been 2.5 years since then, so I think it's still a little while until we see Paper Mario again. However, there is a rumor that the next Paper Mario game is actually a remake of Paper Mario 64, which I think is the perfect thing for Nintendo to do right now, is to go back in time to what made Paper Mario so great, remake Paper Mario 64, even the Thousand Year Door, maybe even Super Paper Mario if they're down for it, but just see why those stories and the gameplay was so fun. It helps them to make a brand new style like that. But I think that would be perfect. If this is going to just be a port or a remake of a past Paper Mario game, then it could actually be ready, because it's not going to take as long as a from the ground up Paper Mario game, and that could be a potential. So I'm keeping my eyes on that, but I think it could still be at least until 2024 until we see something from Mario RPG, mostly because of Mario Rabbids, because Mario Rabbids is still having DLC for Sparks of Hope this year. There's 3 different DLC packs rolling out throughout the year, so I think that's our Mario RPG for the year. I don't think we're getting anything else, and that's what makes me put this at a whopping 7%. It kills me to say that. I want Paper Mario again really bad in a new way, but 7% right now, I just don't think it's happening. And then we have Mario and Luigi. It's been quite in a pickle, because Alpha Dream obviously going bankrupt so long ago. We don't know what ended up happening to that company. Maybe they got picked up by Nintendo, or maybe just dropped off the face of the earth and we'll never hear about Mario and Luigi ever again, which would be the saddest thing I've ever heard in my life. Time will tell, but I don't see it being likely. I think now before the next Paper Mario would be perfect, because it's just right in that good timeline, but I just think once again Mario Rabbids kind of stole the spotlight from this series, which sucks, because I still think Mario and Luigi is 10 times better. Yeah, come at me in the comments, but I would love to see Paper Mario come back, especially on a home console. It would just give me so much joy, but I just don't see Mario and Luigi being very high right now. Although, I'd see it being kind of higher than Paper Mario for next year, because I just don't think Paper Mario's time is right now. I would actually give this about a 23% for next year, because who knows, Nintendo could just come out of nowhere and say, boom, brand new Mario and Luigi. And last but not least, we have other franchises throughout the Mario universe. Now, these are other characters that could be getting their games and stuff, and it still has that Mario charm. Of course, I want to start off talking about Wario, because I think there is a chance that we could see a new Wario game. It has seriously been since 2008 since we got Wario Land Shake It, so maybe we'll get another Wario Land game. We'll see if that even happens. Personally, I would love a 3D game like Wario World on the GameCube because it was so wacky and awesome, but anything Wario right now would be perfect. We did get Get It Together, which was a WarioWare game last year, so surprisingly enough, I think there's a chance that we could get another Wario platformer announced and surprisingly pop up for next year. I mean, just look at the quality of this commercial. It has been too long, Nintendo. We got Yoshi's Crafted World in early 2019, and it was probably the definition of mid. Yeah, I just wasn't a big fan of it. Woolly World was amazing to me, and this one just was a step backwards. I don't know, it felt like it was just boring as heck. I don't know. I don't know what else to say about this game. I'm just not a big fan. But it definitely could be another Yoshi game in the works right now, because once again, we're approaching the 4-year mark. I would love actually a Woolly World style of Yoshi game, but in 3D this time around, allowing us to explore a little world, kind of in the vein of Mario 3D World and Kirby's Forgotten Land. I would love kind of like a more linear 3D experience where we can jump on like felted areas and like explore things and look under crannies. Imagine if like Yoshi had to explore like a kid's bedroom or something and like go underneath the bed and in the drawers and stuff. That could be really cool. So I could see Yoshi doing something like that in his yarn style again. And I think it just kind of fits the character, unless they want to go with a new Yoshi's Island or something, because there is that rumor of a Yoshi's Island track coming in the Mario Kart DLC. So maybe we get a new version of Yoshi's Island, but on a home console. Who knows? Maybe it's a 3D Yoshi's Island. Maybe we could actually explore an island in 3D, because that should have happened so far for Yoshi. Look how good it did for Kirby. Yoshi, you can do it too. But believe it or not, I think there's a good chance we could see a Yoshi game just pop up for next year. I think it's about a 64% actually, because it's not really, I feel like, a big undertaking to see a Yoshi game nowadays. I feel like they just kind of pop up. Next up, we have Donkey Kong. He's in a weird spot with Mario. It's hard to tell which the Odyssey team is working on, that 3D Mario or that rumored 3D/2D Donkey Kong that's been rumored for so long now. I still would love to see a 3D Donkey Kong. I think that would be the best route. But I think another 2D Donkey Kong is still good as well. Tropical Freeze is one of my favorite games, I think, from Nintendo in like the last 15 years. So I could see them finishing off their kind of new trilogy with Returns, Tropical Freeze, and then this new one. I would love to see King K. Rool and the Kremlings come back. I think that would be awesome. Maybe the Odyssey team's working on a new 3D Donkey Kong and a new 3D Mario at the same time. Who knows? But I actually want to say, for a 2D Donkey Kong, I think there's about a 76% chance that we will see it next year. It's been rumored along the time that Kirby was, and Kirby already got revealed, already released, and has been done. So I think it's time for Donkey Kong to finally get its time. I think it's going to be 2D. I'd rather see 3D, but if it's 2D, I'm going a 76% chance next year. In the same room as Mario Maker 2 and Mario Maker 3 potentially happening, I think the same thing could happen with Luigi's Mansion 4. It's been about 4 years since Luigi's Mansion 3 at the end of next year, be around 4 years, so we still have a little bit of time to go, which means that we could still see a new Luigi's Mansion. It's already a packed up lineup though of Pikmin and a new Mario potentially, so I doubt we'll see it, but there is always a possibility. I think there is probably going to be something revolving this game soon. It sold gangbusters. I mean, unbelievable amounts for a Luigi's Mansion game, and it's probably going to be running the same engine with just a new story and a new world, which I think they probably immediately started working on once they saw how much of a success the next game was for Luigi's Mansion 3 anyways. But my guess is, once again, it's probably not going to come until around 2024, but who knows at this rate. My guess for next year is only about 12%. Unfortunately, I just don't think it's time either. I think its time is coming soon. We'll probably see Luigi's Mansion very soon, in fact, but just not next year. And finally, last but not least, we have Captain Toad 2, which is another one that's been rumored, I think, a long time ago from Marco Mero, so take with that what you will. But it's a while ago. We don't know what's going on with Captain Toad. It did get a kind of port/remaster on the Switch, which is cool. But I don't know if we're going to be getting another one. I don't know how well that actually sold. Give me a second. Okay, so Captain Toad sold just over 2 million, which actually isn't terrible because it's actually a port of a game that just was a lesser game. I think it was only like 30-40 bucks originally too. So yeah, it never was meant to be like a huge thing for Nintendo. It almost felt once again like another one of those demo games that they were going to plan something bigger for Toad eventually. And maybe that's what we get now, like a bigger, grander experience. But who knows? But I would love to see a Captain Toad 2 with bigger levels and everything. The more I think about it, and I think about characters being in this Mario movie, I think there's a good chance, because I already talked about Donkey Kong and Yoshi and stuff. I would even say there's about a 58% chance that we could see Captain Toad in some capacity next year. But those are all the Mario games that I could possibly squeeze out of my mind. I'm probably still missing a couple for some reason, maybe like the Mario and Sonic Olympic games. I don't know, is there like Olympic games coming soon that they could do? I'm not even going to research that because I just don't care. But those are the majority of the Mario games we could be seeing next year. Let me know in the comments down below what you're excited to see from Mario next year. Are you excited for the Mario movie? Are you excited for a new mainline Mario game? Let me know what you think about this list in the comments down below, and thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's video, please make sure you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Mario and all things Nintendo in general. And like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See you guys.